Hey guys, here's the part 2 to the last video and a continuation onto the keycard system and this thing over here. But first I just wanted to start off this video by demonstrating what I did wrong in the last video. So we had it where this block wasn't being filled with cobblestone. And upon taking a look at the device, I realized that I hit a concrete block that's supposed to be here by accident and destroyed it. So all it takes is that being removed and it broke. But now, as you can see, this is working as intended. So next up, onto the keycard system. If you don't know what a keycard system is, essentially what it is it gives you the ability to have a key to something. So if you wanted to have a key to your door, you could use this system. Basically, you want to be able to throw in a key and have a redstone output as a result. So, this is what I came up with here. It looks a little complicated, it looks a little confusing, but it's all built around simple mechanics that if you can understand, it's a very simple machine. Eventually I want to cover all of the simple contraptions that I know of and that I continue to learn day by day, but for now I'll assume that people have a little bit of knowledge so that I can show some of the exciting stuff that you can do with redstone. So onto the keycard system here. All this is the input. So I have a minecart with a hopper in it because minecart and hoppers can take items from a block. So you could disguise this whole thing and just have a block rather than a hopper. A little bit prettier, I'd prefer it. So when you put an item into this hopper, it gets put into a dispenser. You then press a button and the dispenser will shoot out that item. The item then goes into a water stream to these two hoppers here. The first hopper uses an filtration to ensure only one type of item could possibly make its way into the system. So in this case, the item being filtered is a stick named password with a capital P. I filled it with clay flower pots just as a nothing item, but in actuality, you would want to use another named item so that it's impossible to actually, like as is if you threw either a stick with password as the name or a clay pot, either would work. So if you use another named item just with random characters, nothing would work other than the password stick. So when the password stick makes its way to this hopper, it is sorted out. And anything that isn't sorted out, so literally anything in the game that isn't a stick named password, will go into this hopper that has no item filtration set up. If you throw in the correct keycard, the stick named password, it will travel through this line of hoppers to an auto dropper system. This is just a dispenser facing upward into glass. So when something goes into this dropper, a comparator senses that and sends a signal through, which is then repeated back into the dropper so that it drops the item. So if I put something in there, it gets pushed out up here. Just that easy. So in this way, you would get your password back. You would get your keycard back. You could return it to the player so they could reuse it again if they felt like it. Off of this auto dropper system is where I'm taking the redstone output from. Because in order for something to make it to this dispenser and auto dropper system, it has to have gone through the item filter, so we know it's got to be the keycard. So this would result in a pulsed output, like a button press, not a lever. And we want to change that from just a pulse to a steady, always on or always off state. Turn a button into a lever. And we do that using what's called a T flip-flop. There's tons of different designs. This one's one of my favorites. So when we get a pulsed output, this lamp will either turn on or turn off. And we can take a redstone output from there to, say, open a door. I also, just for fun, took a separate redstone output from this line and connected it into just a couple note blocks. I really love doing this with redstone builds because it it makes it feel more alive. And because usually in Redstone we're so concerned with hiding away the actual engineering behind it, it's nice to give the player something that they feel is interactive. They can watch the redstone happen, or in this case, listen to it. I really recommend throwing flashing lights or note blocks with a ba-ding sound or something like that, just because it's fun, it's neat, and we're doing this for fun. So that's what I did. Say somebody throws an item into the system that is not the key card. What happens then? In that case, it would pass over the filtered hopper and just land in a hopper that will accept anything. This would then get pushed using a hopper line into another auto dropper system that pushes it up into a water stream and is carried into a chest. So if an item ends up in here, it is because somebody tried to gain access to the system but didn't have the correct keycard. So, for example, if I just take a regular stick, not named, throw it on this block, it makes its way to the dropper, press the button and it's launched, passes over the filtered hopper, goes through here, auto dropper pushes it up to here, it makes its way into the chest, and we have an alarm. This alarm cannot be shut off unless you remove the item that has been filtered. So, in this way, if somebody decides, hey, I'm going to throw a diamond in, see if that's the password, see if that's the right key, well, I get to keep their diamond. And there's a constant alarm going off that tells me somebody tried to break in. All that this little bit of redstone is here is it takes a solid input and turns it into a constantly flashing pulse input. So, solid input into here, and we get a flash. This then goes into a block, making all these bells ring. Sometimes I hate myself for putting sound in my builds. But if you were to throw in their correct stick named password, press the button, it gets into this hopper and is then moved to this auto dropper, shutting our lamp off, giving us a solid redstone output, and resulting in that nice ba-ding you hear, and returning the item to us. Pretty neat. So in this way, I can make it so that essentially you have to have a password in order to be able to interact with a redstone contraption. If you don't have it, you just get a ha 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 ha, fooled you. Now you have to listen to noise. Just fun. People that hear this aren't going to be aggravated. They're going to want to leave the area, but it's just for fun. Highly recommend adding some sort of sound system or light system, something cool to your redstone builds. It takes very little effort. This is so simple to do, but it really does bring your builds up a little bit, I feel. So now I wanted to show how I used a keycard system exactly like this. You can see the hopper lines, the water filter, it's all the same, except now I have a stick named diamonds. So, using the door that we learned about in the last episode, where there's just no way for me to get in here. I can sprint while flying and spam the trigger as fast as I can. It doesn't matter. You can't get through there. So, you follow the instructions. Drop the keycard on the pink square, press button, and wait for the beep. Destroy the blocks after the beep. So in this case, I know the keycard is diamonds. Throw it on the square, press the button, and we wait. Wait for the beep. There we go. Our keycard is returned to us, and now we destroy the blocks. These blocks won't refill until the system is reactivated, and here you could have a cool little secret area to yourself, or maybe you're on a HermitCraft server and you have a shop. You want to have a members only section where people have bought keycards from you, and a section that is just for the regular public. You could section it off using a wall like this, or any kind of piston door would work with this keycard system. But I just think this is neat. It's interactive. It's more than just a button press or a key card. You have to do some activity as well, you know? The reason that I would recommend using a stick is because wood is something that almost every Minecraft player will carry on them at all times. So, say somebody loses all their stuff and wants to come by from your shop. Well, they could go punch a tree and get a stick. They could get a piece of dirt and use it as a key card. So you want to use a common item and keep an anvil nearby so people can always access what is behind the wall or contraption, even if all they have is a stick in one level so they can rename it. This would mean people wouldn't have to carry a key card with them all the time. They could craft one when they need it as long as they know how to make one. But as long as they didn't tell anyone how to make one, the secret stays safe. So now I'll show you what would happen if you threw in a stick that wasn't the correct key card. In this case, throw it on the pink square, press the button, and wait for the beep. Instead, we get an alarm that we can't shut off, and a wall that we can't get through. Oh, a little slower, maybe I can. Not quite. So the only way to shut off the alarm is for somebody with a key card, or the owner, to come gain access to the door, wait for the beep, get the key card back, come to the back of the shop, and take the item that they tried to hack the system with out of the chest. So, if somebody tries to break in, I get their item and an alarm saying somebody's been here, somebody's tried to break into my shop. Nothing's good, and I'm the only person that can shut it off. So, now that I have the alarm shut off, I can close my door up and feel safe knowing nobody got in here, nobody took my stuff, nobody stole from my shop, whatever it might be. So, it might seem like kind of a complicated, convoluted system, but even just looking at the Redstone, it's a bit of a mess. And that's partially just because I'm still learning Redstone. We're all still learning Redstone. We get better every day, but we're not amazing. But the key is that all of this is built on very simple principles, very simple contraptions. Cobblestone generators, smart pistons, glass staircase for transmitting redstone straight upwards, auto droppers, we've got item filtration, all things that you can learn very quickly and are super applicable to so many different builds. Like, all of this whole thing is shut off by this piston extending. Just being able to have such a simple idea in your head where as long as everything is powered, everything is off. As long as everything is off, everything works. Just being able to know that you can send a signal through a block, for example. Things that I'll try and go into in future episodes where I'll explain at a much smaller scale how these redstone components work, basic mechanics, and just I'll try and always give you some use for them because it's kind of hard to see how is this applicable sometimes, which is why I really like to show redstone devices and them working using these simple contraptions after I explain them. But at any rate, this has just been a cool little thought experiment. I personally don't have any use for it. I don't play on a server, I don't play on a realm. And I should also probably specify at this point, if I haven't already, this is a Bedrock tutorial. I don't think this would work on Java Edition. I know it wouldn't because this system doesn't work on Java Edition. When you have a redstone block on the face of a piston, it powers the piston. So just having this right now, this would be extended. And that's just a quirk of Java Edition that I'm glad I don't have to deal with. So us Bedrock Edition Redstoners, we can get a lot done with what we have. There's some things that we just won't ever be able to do. Like, just during my outro here, I'm going to make a really simple flying machine. And flying machines, if you don't know in Bedrock, are very unreliable. They are super unreliable. But the key is to try stuff, Don't be afraid. Don't say, oh, that's a Java exclusive. That's something I won't be able to do. try and use what we have as tools available to make things happen. Not everything is possible in Java Edition. I'm working right now on a world eater that requires flying machines. And as much as I want flying machines to be reliable in Bedrock Edition, they aren't. So even though we have movable block entities and I could connect actual TNT to this, we don't have TNT duplication. Even if I did everything legitimately, flying machines just aren't super reliable in this game. But that doesn't mean you can't try. You can't mess around with flying machines and see if they'll work. I challenge you to go out and don't be afraid to try things when you're redstoning. Not everything's going to work, but every once in a while you're going to make something that you are super, super proud of and impressed that you were able to use the mechanics within the game to make. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this two-part kind of series that I did here. I will definitely be uploading some more on the channel when I get time, and I hope that you got something from these videos. And if you're interested, feel free to subscribe. I will definitely be going over the very, very basics of Redstone that I know of, as well as some of the more advanced stuff later down the line. I can show you how to make 3x3 piston doors, for example. I can show you how to make Ethos doors. I can show you how to make... Farms is really my specialty, but how can you not just love a nice piston door? Like, seriously, how can you not? I can show you how to make item filtration systems to make it so you could filter every item in the game. I have auto dropper systems. I've got shulker box unloading systems. Here's the Ethos spiral door that I made. Like, all of this is made with extremely simple mechanics, and I want to be able to show people those mechanics in a way that's hopefully digestible, fun, and interesting. So join me in the future, subscribe to the channel if you feel like it, and hopefully you don't have any more of these where you just have to say, nope, that ain't working. Try something better. I've been Kobe. Great having you along. Can't wait to see you in the next ones. Cheers.